Okay, so welcome to all. Today I am going to give you an introduction about motor current signature analysis. This I normally used to touch in my training school course, that condition based monitoring and maintenance. There is a course is there. So in that course I'll just touch this topic, but today I thought, because this request came from various industries as well as some professionals also, so I thought I will go this series, means this topic, with a few lectures, maybe 3 or 4, so that this will be conceptually as well as mathematically as well as practically it will be we can visualize it. So what I'll cover these things within 3 or 4 lecture. First I will give you the basic concepts, then its mathematical mathematical concept or mathematical derivation. Then in my lab I will generate a faulty waveform and I will match it, how it can be correlated. So the entire concept will be clear to all. Okay, so this is the very introductory, this is the first lecture. It will be a very introductory lecture. I will be not going to much more mathematics here. You see, most of the prime mover in the process and power industry, those are induction machine. Okay, asynchronous induction machine. Basically those asynchronous induction machine is for soft starting or current control starting or speed control application. Today it will be controlled, the control will be adopted is vector control. So vector control is nothing but to operate an induction machine as a separately excited DC machine. Why so? I will tell you. There are lot of advantages, but for this course, why I am telling this concept, because to find, say, the motor. So this is my motor. Okay, this is my prime mover. This is my prime mover. So my motor is coupled with one driven equipment. Say this is pump, centrifugal pump. Okay, so and here my 3-phase supply is there. So basically what is happening here in this case, the electrical energy in form of current and voltage, it is converted to mechanical domain and producing pressure and discharge, head and discharge. Okay, so this is the conversion. So in more because here when it is converting to mechanical domain, so basically it is producing torque and RPM. Okay, so this head is proportional to the square of the RPM and discharge is directly proportional to the RPM. I am not going to all those details, but now if the machine is decoupled, so what I mean to say, the electrical energy basically is producing torque and RPM. Okay, that I mean to say. So it is very similar that, so where it is this torque is coming, this torque is coming from the electrical side, current basically. Okay, so this current basically it's producing torque and RPM. Now if there is any mechanical defect in the pump, say there is some fault in bearing, or this coupling is misaligned, then the motor will be demanding, means the pump will be demanding a variable torque. In normal condition, the frequency of the current, so now this is the total current of the motor, is basically divided into, that I will tell you later, two components. One is called direct axis component, another is called quadrature axis component. That I will tell you later, just to understand just to listen the name. This direct axis component will be producing the flux, and the quadrature axis component will be producing the torque. So if there is, how it is coming mathematically, all these things I will clear you in a very simplified manner, but not in the introductory lecture. Okay, so now you can think, if there is a requirement of variable torque, then the torque producing component, the same variation, the same fluctuation will be reflecting in that current also. Okay, that only I mean to say. So if there is the driven equipment is asking a variable torque requirement, so that will be reflected in the electrical input of the motor. Okay, you can take one example. Say there is a, say one, this is a bearing, this is a shaft, this is the shaft, it is rotating like this, it is bolted like this. Okay, this is the cover. Now if it is loose, means there is much more clearance. So for rotation, what will happen, say this is the enclosure, say, and shaft is somewhere here, this clearance, this is the more clearance, and it is rotating like this. So what will happen, one time it will hit here, and while going down it will hit here. So if your excitation is omega, so if you put one accelerometer here or here, you will get a frequency of 2 omega. So anytime if your mechanical response or the vibration or the displacement, whatever you tell, if it is coming double of the excitation, then it is commonly known as there is a looseness. Okay, that already I taught from vibration signature while you are doing the FFT. From that FFT signal, how to conclude that what type of fault it is. Okay, so what I mean to say, if there is this kind of heating is there, so at once it is heating, or this kind of vibration is coming, so torque also will be varying in the same fashion. The torque requirement also, it will be varying in the torque requirement. Now it will be getting modulated, it will be not constant or as desired. Some fault frequency will be added. So now say the actual motor, when the motor is decoupled, so if this is your supply frequency, then once the load is coupled and there is a fault in the driven equipment, so that fault frequency also will be added. Okay, so this component will be also presenting, it will be reflected in the in the input frequency. This is the current. So now say my application, my pump is somewhere in the reactor. It's a reactor coolant pump. I don't have the direct access because they are the active field. But my motor, it is the motor control. The motor control is my control room. So simply by taking the current signature, I can predict what is the healthiness of the pump and how it is operating. Okay. But here what you need to do, say now I'll tell one simple example. So say now our our ceiling fan in our home, it is rotating. Basically it is producing the torque and RPM. If you see, say for certain instant it is drawing 1 ampere current. Basically this terminal voltage is fixed, that is 230 volt. So from this 1 ampere, basically it is producing RPM and torque. Now can you split how much ampere is responsible for torque and how much ampere is responsible for RPM? It's not so simple in case of induction machine. So to do this kind of diagnostic or analysis, first we have to split what is my torque producing component, and if I able to get that signature and if I do the frequency analysis, then my job will be simple. I can predict. So for this I have made one model. So in this model, so this is a PC model. So you see this is the torque, and this control, what is this? Basically it is indirect field oriented control. Why I connected this? Because using this only I can able to operate a machine, an induction machine, as a separately excited DC machine. Okay, as a separately excited DC machine, and I can easily split the torque producing component, which is quadrature component. Okay, so in the torque, you see, first I will not apply, I will give a constant torque. Say this is, I will apply a DC voltage. So say here I am giving 5 Newton meter torque. Now I will simulate what is my current signature. PC is very slow. And this is my quadrature current. If you see that my quadrature current is, these are the transients. I am not bothered about those transients. This is the steady. After 80 millisecond, it is going towards the steady state, and you see it is more or less smooth. Okay. Now instead of the constant torque, say the pump is vibrating due to some reason. Maybe there will be a preload, or there is a much more clearance, it is rubbing, or this kind of problem is existing in the pump. So that time, say there is a more clearance in the bearing, so that always if it is operating as I told, or looseness, So this will be double of that, so I am adding, this is 100 hertz, okay, and I am applying a torque, variable torque, okay. Now let us see what is my torque producing component now. Say I don't know, actually I don't have a direct access to the driven equipment, but I have the access of current in my control room. So I am taking the current signature of the torque producing component, not the direct line current or phase current. As I told from that fan example, it is very difficult to predict that where is that component. So as I told, this is my quadrature component. So now you see, in the quadrature component, it is not steady. Now if I take the FFT and if I expand it, you see there is a dominant peak here. You see, in the 100 hertz, I am getting, let us increase slightly the amplitude so that it will be prominent. So here question is there that the data logger or the ADC you will be using to capture the time domain data, it should be high resolution, okay, otherwise you cannot. You see, in the if the severity of the vibration is less or the fault is less, then if you are using a ADC or the data logger, which is the resolution of the ADC is not sufficient enough, you will not be able to catch the peak. It will be there, but you will be not able to see that prominently. Now if I take the FFT, you see I am getting a dominant peak, and where is this peak? This is the dominant peak. You see I am getting a peak of 100 hertz. This is 99 point, because my pointer is not exact, it is 100 hertz. So now you see, actually there is a fault in my driven equipment, but it is very easy to predict that what kind of variable torque requirement is there in my driven equipment by taking the current signature from my motor. But this current signature, simply you cannot take it, because if you take phase or line current, you may not be able to see that. You have to split first the phase or line current to torque producing component, and you have to take the signature of that, then you can easily predict it, okay. So this is the very introductory lecture, as I told. So you can see, if there is a variable torque requirement, you can see that fluctuation in the torque producing component, okay. So we will explore it in the subsequent lecture. As I told, I will show you the practical scenario also, how it is happening, so that it will be helpful to all of you. Thank you so much.